we can actually tap in, create a relationship with money, and attract more of it. And I got really good at attracting money. When something came up that I wanted or needed, open space, attract money, open space, attract money.
Welcome to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, where world-changing spiritual entrepreneurs come to deeply awaken the power within to bring forth their greatest purpose, to create massive awakened impact for millions of souls around the planet, while enjoying being in tune with all life and real wealth in all aspects of their lives. I'm your host, Daniel John Hanneman. And welcome everybody to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. I'm so grateful to be with you. I've got an incredible guest here today, and she is just a magical in opening up money for you women, you soul-led entrepreneurs and healers, and dare I say, even witches and witchpreneurs or whatever may be the case. Like, she is here to help you. If you're wanting to open up to that flow, she's got a incredible story. If you feel you're stuck, if you feel you cannot advance for whatever reasons in your life, financially, you got to listen to Julie, because I do want her to share a story today. And between that and what she discovered around the energy of money, and how she's utilized that to impact tons of women's lives to open up to more money, is going to be just blow your socks off, what's possible and what's available to you. So, Julie, it's really great to have you on the show today.
Thank you. I'm really honored to be here.
All right, so Julie, let's talk about, like, that's what really intrigued me when I read through your bio, was the background, the 20-year relationship, and you probably talked about it a million times, but just like my own story, I've said it billions of times. I feel like it's still big for me to share, right? So, but anyway, I'd love to hear about the 20-year marriage you were in, and some of the things that came up. There was abuse and whatnot, and how you felt, trapped, it sounded like, from the bio and whatnot, and how you broke through that and got to where you're doing what you do today. So I'd love to hear a little bit about that part of the journey.
Yeah, thank you for asking. And yes, I have told this story a million times, but I think that it's important because there are so many women who find themselves in some form relating to this story. So I was actually raised as the oldest of five kids, two brothers, three sisters, and my dad raised, according to my dad, he raised his girls to get taken care of and his boys to get along in the world. And so, as I was graduating high school and looking at what's next, I how do I want to say this? I ended up getting married because I needed somebody to take care of me, right? It was the conditioning, it was the rules of my family that I would find somebody to take care of me. And so I found myself at 18, married and pregnant to my high school sweetheart, who was a bully, continues to be a bully. And I spent 20 years in that relationship because I was really afraid that if I left, I wouldn't have enough money to raise my four kids, because, nice Catholic family, four kids. And I was pretty sure his mother and he would find a way to take my kids away from me, and then I wouldn't even be there to protect them. Not that I did a great job protecting them, but at least I was there. It felt like I could run interference. And there came a point where it just felt unbearable. And I was working with a Reiki master and a psychic medium at the time, and just starting to have that spiritual awakening when I had a conversation with my highest self. And I said, but, the way we sometimes do when we are tapping into source and asking for insight. And I said, can I stay in the marriage? And she said, oh, yes, you'll die, but feel free to stay, or you can leave and actually have a life and do the work you're meant to do. And but if you want to stay, and you can die, and then we'll bring you back another time. And so I chose to leave, at that point. Death did not seem like a viable option to me.
Right.
And what I discovered was, first of all, that I could make enough money to survive. And I did that for a couple of years. I survived. I couldn't afford to buy a new pair of tennis shoes,
Mm.
but I could survive. I found a way to start taking some personal development courses. I found a way to work with a shaman and to work with teachers and psychics. And in this, I started to discover the money is energy. And as energy, we can actually tap in, create a relationship with money, and attract more of it. And I got really good at attracting money. When something came up that I wanted or needed, open space, attract money, open space, attract money. And then money said to me one day, could you teach this to other people? And I went, well, really, I'm good at teaching funnels and launches. And money was like, psh, could you teach this to other people? Could you just teach this? And so that's been a real evolution and a really, really exciting place of growth for me. What I love about it most is that money is really a partner. Money has really become, this energy of money has become a teacher and a partner guiding me. And of course, the more I follow, the bigger the money channels open. So I attract more of it. And then in the last few years, I've been working in the Akashic Records, maybe 4 or 5 years, 2 or 3 years, anyway, and opened up this whole um, line of teaching around the money codes that get coded like computer coding into our DNA, into our energy body, into our unconscious, that really dictate how much money we can have, how much we allow in, how much it feels safe to have. And when we can rewrite the coding at that level, at a soul level, at a cellular level, then the push, the hard work, the willpower to make more money goes away. And it's simply an opening and then following our soul's direction for money to flow in. And it's
Mm.
so funny, Daniel, because even as I say that, like I can feel the anxiety around, but the world says, right? I can feel my own kind of
Right, right,
out here messaging going, are you sure?
right, right,
Despite my experience being, yes, of
right.
course, I'm sure.
Right. Well, I mean, I think about that when I say every time I do an energy scan, or a lot of times anyway, I get done. Sometimes it's maybe 20 minutes. I'm going on and on, in a private energy scan, or I'm tuning into people's field or something. And I get to the end, I'm like, well, I don't know. It might not all resonate. You let me know or whatever. Like I still say that sometimes because I'm like, how do I know what they're going to say for 100%? But yet I know, right? And then they always usually say, well, that's exactly right. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah. But there's always that little, yeah, I know what you mean by a little bugger of a little, like, I don't know, does it really work that way? That thing there. Yeah, I hear you.
But isn't it fun? Like, you don't have to be an expert on all this other stuff. You just have to be the open channel.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, such a
Yeah.
great way
Yeah,
to
like I
do
don't need to learn
business.
about all this coding. You do that. Like, that's how I hear that too as well. Like that's why I like bringing on different people. Like I know a little bit about a lot of the stuff that people talk about on this show, right? I mean, sometimes more than a little, but I'm like, man, I'm always getting new insights and thoughts about things, being on posting and bringing you guys on. So like that's fascinating to me. It makes sense to me. Like from my experience with being in business since the 2000s and everything, being online doing healing work and being a business coach and all this stuff, I get what you're talking about, and do it helping other people too with money, money energy and money shadows and stuff like that too. And but like you really like dialed into something. So you say like there's literally like this code. I would say that's interesting. People are talking about codes, energetic codes and stuff like that. How does it come to you as like, what is a code in your, we got coding for computers, ones and zeros, right? I mean, I'd love to learn more about that. How you perceive what this coding is and how you pick up on it. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's what's been shown to me, and I'm sure there's more, but what been shared with me is 6 different codes, and they're really written in different places. So, for instance, the ancestral codes are in our DNA. And so, what they've shown me is that, the spirals you see of the pictures of DNA,
Hmm.
that and our DNA is really coding like this and this makes blue eyes and that makes somebody who's going to be short or whatever, and that the ancestral beliefs about how the tribe survives gets wrapped in there. So for instance, it may be something like, well, the tribe survives when you don't outshine the king, right? Or one that I had was don't outshine the golden child, which actually is a family rule in my family as well. And what I was shown was ancient Egypt, when the king was actually the sun god, thought to be the sun god. But
Hmm.
if you show up and outshine him, you and your people are in danger, right? We don't outshine. And how that affected me when I started to gain some visibility in my business was I had this, oh, let me shrink back. Let me not stand out. Let me kind of imitate other people, because if I'm teaching my own thing, ooh, I may show up more. And so I actually had to go back and have the record keepers, and we do it with prayers and meditations and visualizations. And then I can actually see the record keepers in the records writing out new coding, and however they want to put dots and ones and zeros and all of that. I don't understand coding, so they do it.
Right.
But I had to rewrite the rule around that it
Hmm.
is safe to shine in my own light, and that doesn't take away from the light of others.
Yes.
That enhances others, and especially the golden king. It
Hmm.
enhances the divine masculine, the golden masculine, as I am shining as the divine feminine or the golden feminine, right? That becomes more equal. And I had to rewrite that to allow myself to get on Facebook and do a live, to do my own podcast, to, all of those visibility things that had to be rewritten. And that's where that is. But when we come to society codes, those are actually written outside our energy bubble. So
Hmm.
we all have our own energy bubble that we carry with us in the world. And if you play with energy, and I'm sure you've done this because this is your freaking work. Um, like you can push that energy bubble out and make it bigger, you can make it smaller, but we walk with this energy bubble and we are bombarded with society spells. And society spells are designed to keep the society intact the way it is, right? Like we are still in the throes of these spells of the Industrial Revolution.
Uh-huh.
Learn to make a cog, stand there for 60 years, make your cog stay quiet, right?
Right.
And so what happens is these spells are coming at us from society saying, this is who you need to be so that we can keep the power structure the same. And sometimes they get through our energy bubbles and then they start affecting us. And so that's rewritten differently. That's I usually have my clients take that and put it in like a sacred fire or give it back to Mama Earth. Mama Earth loves to take and compost things. She's
Hmm.
like, "Ooh, you got a little bit of shit there." And, oh, can I cuss on your
That's okay.
sorry, I just cussed on your podcast. You've got some not what we are talking about compost. So she's like, oh, I can take that. I can turn it back into pure energy and then use it to grow something nice. So a lot of times we'll give it to Mama Earth or we'll put it into a sacred fire and we just release that. But the cool thing is, especially for the women I'm working with now, is they're so powerful that a lot of times if we find one of those spells and we release it, they can release it for a lot of the people that are around them as well.
Do you want to meditate and make money? Let it be simple. Let it be easy. Let it be fun. Go to yoursacredpurpose.com and get your free meditate, make money meditation today. Mhm.
So, you know, women in corporate, oh my God, there's so much about women in corporate. Um, you know, don't be a bee, right?
Right.
And what that means is don't speak out, don't argue, don't give your opinion, just agree, right? Well, a woman in a corporate position who can let go of that rule and say, no, I'm going to be assertive in this position. I'm going to
Mhm.
stand up for what I believe in. That changes it for all the women around her. And she can create a healthier workplace just by doing that.
Right.
And if you're doing that through willpower alone and you're still battling the energetic spell that says you shouldn't be doing this, it comes out differently than if you let go of that energetic spell and you're doing it simply from your connection to the divine.
Yeah. 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 Wow. So that's great. I mean, like just listening to you talk, I'm like, wow, you help and rewrite all these money codes all over the place. It's a revolutionary kind of feeling. So I really appreciate that. Yeah. Of course, I always say like 95% or so, something like that of my clients have been women. So I can, even though I'm not a woman, like I've gotten pretty hip to the challenges of being a woman in that level. So, and all the people in my life, they're all mostly women. Like I've got two of my own biological daughters. I got my stepdaughter. Like the grandkids are our daughters, two granddaughters. Like just women, women, women. So it's been a gift because like I think it's helped me, yeah, to embody my being. There's a difference, like, and this is a different topic, slightly, but not really. But like, it's helped me to embody my own feminine or way, right? Before it's more like either I'm just a quiet, like, soft guy type, way in the past, especially. Um, Masculine energies, seething underneath, but strong, but not visible to other people. They just think, oh, he's just a soft, nice guy, whatever. And then, but then the feminine is all locked up too. So it's just like flat, And so women, taking, me being energy sensitive too, but like, being with women has really helped me to step into that without trying to use too many words to describe what that's like for me. But like just feeling that energy, that the connection, I would just call it connection to make it really simple, like a
Yeah.
connected energy, right? And yeah, it allows, you to be more receptive to things. For me it's like receptive to things happening more easily and trusting that more, because there is on top of that, like a driving part of my mind. It's like it's still to this day like, you haven't done enough, we got to do more, we got to, it doesn't matter, we got, even if I had like, that part of my mind, I could have just like massive abundance and still be like, no, we didn't go far enough. Go for like
Yeah.
it's
Push
never that way.
harder.
Yeah, exactly. Where the feminine is like, oh, let's enjoy. Let's just, let's keep it's gonna keep flowing, and let's just keep letting it expand, and like but that energy is not what we're taught whatsoever, is what I think I'm trying to build towards. It's like
Yeah.
men and women, and then if you're a woman, like you're more naturally inclined towards that energy anyway. But like, we haven't been taught to trust that. It's all masculine. People call it the patriarchy, but whatever. I mean, it's the male dominated type of society, kind of energy. And yeah, I think, most men, or if they're honest, well, spiritually awakening men at least, are like, yeah, we're burnt out on that too.
Yeah, 100%. The way Jeffrey Van Dyke explained it to me was that when masculine energy is in its low vibration, then it acts as a bully. And
Hmm.
that's the push. You haven't done enough. It's only 6
Yeah.
p.m. Why are you quitting work now?
All
Like,
right.
seriously, you've only been at this 12 hours. Keep going.
Right.
Go, right?
Right. Yeah.
Feminine energy in its lowest is very manipulative. It's passive
Mm.
aggressive. It's,
Mm.
um, well, I'm sick today and I can't, or, bat your eyelashes and get your way. And we can see that. If we look at the world stage, you can see it everywhere.
Mhm.
Feminine energy in its highest vibration is creative, it's innovative, it's connective, it's communicative. That is where the solutions lie for the problems that exist in the world today. But
Mhm.
just having the solutions is not the answer. We also need the higher energy masculine. And the higher energy masculine is in service to the creativity of the feminine.
Mhm.
So when we just lock in to that low energy masculine and forget the other three quadrants, then that's where we get burnout and illness and all of those things. As the feminine um, becomes more embodied in the world, that's where it raises up the masculine. Like
Right.
the feminine, the masculine is here to serve, and the feminine is here, and she goes up. Masculine has to go up,
Right.
right? And so I think one of the things about you is that you figured that out pretty early, right?
Yeah.
So you get to like be a leader in saying, hey guys, look, the feminine is not here to like squash us. The feminine's really here for us to be able to be part of the new creation, to be part of whatever it is we are building in the world now.
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, a lot of I feel like a lot of my friends at times in my life were women, and like it just goes on and on. And I always I felt like more myself, with women, honestly. Like I feel more like there's more, I'm an in-depth type of person too. So, but yeah, I totally agree with that, with the energetic aspect. Like I just even look at being married for 20 plus years myself, like happily, and like just like like most men, you have to learn, right? Like, okay, well, if you don't listen, you want to fight it, like we can do it that way, but you're not going to be, the whole happy wife, happy life thing. There's something to that, right? I mean, like, I can fight everything. I could be like, oh, what do you think? I'm your slave or what, like, but like, it's just literally like she's like holding this amazing space and on top of so many things in her, in a sense, like she's on everything in a sense, right? And then I come in and I'm like, basically, okay, you're holding it all. How can I help? Like that's really the relationship, I think, when it's properly done, in a basic terms, But like that's what I found for myself and then I think that just like a good example of how the divine feminine and the masculine work together. Because sometimes she'll be like, the feminine wants to feel that masculine strength, right? Like it helps raise her up, right? Yeah, all right. Yeah, yeah. I like seeing that masculine, right? Like
Yeah.
raise it up the feminine.
Could you just take care of this? Could you call
Right,
PG&E or whatever it is? Yeah. Sometimes it's just like, yes, take it over, power through it, whatever it is, you do it.
right,
Um, and she needs that because the feminine needs that cycle of, hey, sometimes I'm going to be out there, but sometimes I just need to be in that rest phase.
right. Oh, totally. So we're coming back to the money codes.
Back
I
to money.
wanted to hit that part because that's what's so juicy. But because it does go out together, right? I mean, so there because a lot of these codes are been laid down during this heavily masculine, era, let's call it, or whatever, and now the feminine rising, everybody's talking about it, and so it is happening, of course, and then and that's rewriting, money codes in these different ways. So you talked about a couple of different ones, societal codes, ancestral codes. Um, some of those are maybe some of the more, I don't know, are those some of the most common ones, or the other ones that are really common that you find?
Yeah. So there's the ancestral codes, which are like so strong. There's society's codes. There is the past life. And a lot of the past life stuff is set down as vows or contracts with other people. So, as an example, a lot of us carry witch wound. That's a past life wound. The witch wound is either we were witches or witch hunters, right? Both of which create a wound that says being magic, being visible, being wealthy is very, very dangerous for women in the world. And so let's say I'm starting a healer business and I do energy healing and I have a witch wound. I'm going to sit at home and hope people find me without me having to be visible because being visible is very, very dangerous. Right.
Mm,
So we have to let go of that vow. There is the family of origin wound, which
mm,
is what is your place? What is the role that you were given in the family? And I can remember talking to my youngest daughter about this years ago because she was like, well, Sarah was my oldest. Sarah's the smart, pretty one. So I couldn't be that. And then Zach was the athletic, tough one. And I couldn't be that. And then Zeke's the creative one. So I had to be the rebel. And I'm like, you had to be? Really? But like we are given those roles when we
mm.
come into a family that
Right.
this is who you get to be. I remember, I don't know if anybody is watching this, there's little pieces of art behind me. And I can remember the first time I showed my mom, looked at it and she went, this is very strange. You're not the artistic one in our family. It was just like, there can't be more than one of us. Right. So we were all given those roles. And if they work unconsciously, they can hold us back. Now, wait, that's four I've done. Right. And then we get some from our wounding, from our childhood woundings, where we're writing rules about ourselves when we're 3 and 5 and 7 that say things like, oh, I'm not smart, or I'm just a bother, or whatever it is. And those really affect us. And underneath all of that, in the depths of our soul, is our coding to actually be connected and one with source and to flow all of abundance through us. But all these other things get layered on top, and we
Right.
really have to dig through to activate our soul code,
Hmm.
which is I am goddess, I am creatrix, I am one with source, and therefore I create my human reality from that connection with source. But if I have access to source energy, I can create whatever the heck I want.
Right.
And that's at the core. That's at the very core of all of us.
Right. I mean, there's so many ways, that uh, us witch healer types and whatnot. Of course, with healers, like the witch wound is like one of the most common wounds. Like it's like, yep, you were a witch too. Like it's just like kind of the most common ones, and that I see again and again, and it's part of what, yeah, it needs to be addressed in some kind of way, along the journey. So. And then, yeah, like all these different things, different ways we're seen. I definitely was put at an advantage in my family. I have a older sister, but in that, well, like I could do no wrong. She could do everything wrong, in a sense. I'm exaggerating, but sort of, like she would, there would always be but then she, like, a self-reinforcing cycle, like, then she would just show up as worse, right? Like, okay, that's how I'm
Yep.
seen. All right, and keep showing up that way, and then it looks like it's real. Yeah, Dan's the nice one. She's not so great all the time, And so it's so interesting, yeah, how these different family dynamics come into place. But I always felt like I was the least accomplished, though, at the same time. Like, yeah, and then nor did I care at one level, right? I'm like, yeah, it doesn't matter. It all doesn't matter. Like that's been like one of my issues, frequency wise. I just go to it doesn't matter. Oh, we're all one. It doesn't matter then everything. Like, I'll go there too. Like I've got all these different things, right? But so realizing why does money really matter? Like why does all this even matter? Why do we need to be visible? Why do we need to shine? Why do we need money? Why any of it? We're all one anyway. And there's some woman listening right now. Think of that. Like I don't know. Maybe I should be bolder. Maybe I should start doing this healing work, getting paid, or whatever they want to do, or do this soul-led business. But I don't know. It doesn't matter. I got kids to take care of, or whatever they're doing, and so I'd love to hear more about why you see for many of them it really does matter for them to step forward.
Yeah, so I always say a woman with money has choice.
Hmm.
And I think that that is really the foundation of everything I have done for the last 25 years is a woman with money has choice. She can choose to stay in a relationship or leave, stay in a job or leave. She can put herself and her family in places that are in the highest and best for them. She can choose to live in a certain area or move to a new area because she has resources, because she has money. So that's the first place that it's really important is it's all around personal choice and having choice. And if you are working 3 jobs just to put food on the table, then you don't really have choice. Number two, a woman with money gets to live a really vibrant, juicy, exciting life, right? I get to do things like take a week off every summer and do Grammy camp with my grandkids. And that's not going to last forever because they are growing up very quickly.
Oh yeah.
But we've taken them to amusement parks and to the lake, and we've done all these things with them and had experiences with them that I hope will enliven their lives, but really does enliven my life, helps me raise my vibration. A woman with money can go on retreat for a week, right? She
Yeah.
can go hire healers to help her. She can take vacations with her spouse and do the reconnection that raises her vibration. You know this, when you raise your vibration and you're around other people, it helps them raise their vibration. And what do we need more of on this planet right now? We need more of that higher loving vibration.
Hmm.
The third thing that happens is a woman with money can give to causes she believes in.
Hmm.
Um, she can support organizations and causes that are doing the work because you know what? I am not going to be in Africa building schools for girls and on the Serengeti saving elephants and going to Washington, D.C. to fight legislation and showing up at Planned Parenthood to escort women in. And, I'm not going to be doing all those things, but I can give to those causes and I can support that work by doing my work. Because I believe we all signed up before we got here, before we came through the birth canal, we signed up and said, this is the work I'm coming to the planet to do. So I get to do my work. The other thing is women with money get to do their work.
Yeah.
If I was working at Starbucks, man, I'd be doing my work this much. But because I have created a financially abundant business and life, I get to be here with you and do this work. And then the final thing is women with money have the time and the resources to take a seat at the table of decision makers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really, really important that we bring more feminine into places where decisions are being made about the world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And high level feminine, not
Right. Yeah. Low level anything is that so great, right?
yeah.
Passive, feminine, or whatever else there might be out there, right? Yeah.
But honestly, bottom line, it's a heck of a lot more fun to have money than not have money.
Yeah.
Because
I
Seriously, I've done both. Prefer having it.
too. Me too. Me too. I mean, it's not, it's not, it's not like personally like the end of the world if you're financially not doing great, but it can be extremely stressful if you don't know how to pay your bills, right? I mean, it can be very stressful, and it doesn't afford you all those different opportunities you talked about and more, right? I mean, the way I've been looking at it in terms of like really opening to way more than, way more on every level, including financially, it's like, I'm a frequency to the world, and I think more personally to my family. As I've been raising up and I'm declaring these new bigger visions, like, yeah, first people are like, yeah, whatever, like that's how people take it at first, right? Then all of a sudden they start to see how you really are aligning with it. It hasn't all, hardly manifested anything yet, but like, yet they can feel it, right? They're like, okay, so where's this all going? They start, it's like they got the notice or something like, oh, this might be real. Like, holy cow. Like, and then they're trying to take that in, and that's then they are trying to learn. So how's that going to work, Dad? Like my kids even know, how's that work? And now they're learning, like, so if they decide to go be entrepreneurs, my girls, they're learning and they'll learn what not to do too, right? For me, they'll learn like, wow, this is smart. You're like, okay, that's how you would approach that, or I'd want to approach it. So I think like that's what's so great about it is like making that decision. It does. It helps to raise everybody up. And I always say like the money isn't like I always say like you're not receiving the money and they're like ah ha ha I'll go burn it out in the fire and like you took all the money, right? It's like literally like we're just all circulating all this stuff anyway. Even if you put it in the bank, it still circulates, it never stops. And the energy is constantly moving. So what are you afraid of? You're afraid to allow yourself to you don't want to be called, you're a fraud. You took too much money. You're too greedy, or you're just a witch, or whatever. We're afraid of these judgments, basically. I think, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like and being persecuted again.
And I think something you just said is really important. I want to come back to that.
Yeah.
Um, Money is really just energy.
Hmm.
And it's an energy that comes from source, and it's the energy of appreciation.
Hmm.
And if source is unlimited, or God, or the universe, or goddesses, whatever the languages you want to use, is unlimited, which we believe it is. We believe that that everything is made up of is unlimited. Then money, as part of it, is also unlimited. How much we have is limited by how much we allow ourselves to receive, which means if money is unlimited, I allow myself to have more. I'm not taking that from somebody else. That
Hmm.
doesn't mean somebody else has to have less. It's
Right.
not a piece of pie where if I take the last piece, there's no more pie,
Right.
right? It's unlimited. If we run out of pie, I'm going to go to the bakery.
Right.
They make pie every day. And if
Right.
they run out of apples, they're going to go to the farmer because the
Right.
farmer's always growing more apples, right? Like it's a unlimited resource. And
Right.
so even just that belief that if I take some, somebody else has less,
Right.
that's a spell that society put on us because if they can keep us, and I say they, um, people who are currently holding power, if they can
Right.
keep us broke enough, we will continue to do what they say.
Right. Right.
And so, understanding that I can have as much as I want, and you can have, or I can have as much as I allow myself to receive, and you can have as much as you allow yourself to receive. And it doesn't limit anybody else
Mhm.
is huge for opening to receive more.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the day is all part of why I'm so on fire with my mission too. Because, I feel like again we're, a crossroads. It's like, of like, okay, I do think about things like extinction events, one way or another. Like, okay, we're gonna chip everybody. It's gonna go like this. It's gonna be like that. Guys, we need to master our own inner energy and technology before you start immersing yourself and getting so fascinated with all these outer technologies exclusively. Like, I mean, I find myself, I'll go down the rabbit hole of going down I feel like they're almost like little traps out in the forest. Like, let me scroll. Oh my God, I'm learning so much. This is so incredible. Really, Trump's evil. No, this one's evil. Oh my God, this is happening too. Like, I mean, like, oh my God, like, what are we gonna do? Well, I'm running for election. Why don't you vote for me? It's like this whole system, and it's like we're not tuned in to create a new Earth, because we're so busy paying attention to all that stuff. So, like, yeah, so money is all part of that, like opening up to the power and the currency that we really are, and realizing we're infinite magicians. There's infinite pies. Like, yeah, I love that with the pies because it's like, oh, but there's only so many apple trees possible on the planet. Yeah, really? How do you know? It could be unlimited. We don't know how many more apples we could produce, right? We don't know. Somebody say, no, I did the calculations. BS, there's more creativity, there's more possibility, right? So I always think that same way. Like, it's always unlimited. It's only when the mind comes in with the limited mind says, oh, it's limited. That's the only limit there is. There is no limit, in my opinion.
My ex-husband's grandfather was an almond farmer here in
Mm,
Central California. And I guarantee you, there was a harvest every year.
right.
There were always more nuts. He had walnuts on his farm, but he sold the almonds. Um, almonds. You have to say it like a farmer. Almonds, right?
Ammons.
There were always more almonds. And every year there were more.
Yeah.
They were unlimited.
Right. Right. They just keep coming.
They keep
As long as
coming.
you're willing to receive. Yeah. You could look around. I mean, literally, they could be all almonds everywhere. And if the lac mines turn on, you'll be like, I don't see them. I don't see them. Literally, you wouldn't even see them. Like,
Yeah.
that's how much our perception can be changed. We've all had the experience. Where are my keys? They're right in front of your eyeballs. They're right in front. That actually happened with this episode. I'm like, now where's that email with all their information? I literally had it open already, right in front of my eyes. I'm like, where is it? I can't find it. Like, well, it's so right in your face, you can't even see it. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's like when you just open awareness, there it is, right? So that's huge. I mean, now, so there's so much here. I mean, how do you, let's talk a little bit about, we're talking about the codes that you help people with the recoding or, evolving them with that. So, like, how do you go about doing that? Like, what's your approach? How do you serve people?
Gee, wow,
Uh,
that's a big
Big
question.
question. Yeah. Yeah, I
Like
wanted
in
like, well,
terms
okay,
of,
we got the coach, right? So it's like, okay, how do we work with that and how do we help
yeah.
people shift from
So I
there?
think this is where we bring in some masculine strategy. We bring in
Yeah,
sort of the riverbank, like
yeah, yeah.
what are the different ways? What are like the different ways I do coaching,
Yeah, yeah,
retreat?
yes, yes, yes.
We have an event coming up where we're going to just work with these codes for 2 full days with people. We have a membership where we work with people month to month on the codes and really changing every month. We're working with a different code. Um, so that's kind of the big like here's the different funnels that I can put people in and work them with the codes. Um, but really, it's individual.
Mm-hmm.
And so, whether it's in a group or on a one on one coaching, I'm just listening for the code. I'm listening for the belief. I'm listening for the rule. And generally, I ask and I tap into their Akashic records to start with. And sometimes, like I had a call this morning with a woman, I'm like, let's look at your money codes, and the record keepers are like, let's look at her relationship rules. And I'm like, no, money record keepers, and they're like, relationship, 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 right? So sometimes it goes that way because for her, she needed the relationship to be solid before she could make money, right? That's not going to be everybody. And so it's listening in on both. And I have that, I've always walked both worlds. When I was 7, I lived in a haunted house and shut that down for several years. And then when I had my first spiritual awakening, it was waking up to, oh yeah, and I've got this guy standing over this shoulder and this one over here and this goddess is following me around and like all this stuff. So when I do deliberately turn it off when I'm not working with someone or I'm not doing my own work, because
Mhm.
otherwise it just can wear you out. But when
Mhm.
I'm working with someone or when I'm in a group, I am listening to the voices on the other side. I'm listening to the clues. And sometimes it's what comes out of their mouth. Um,
Mhm.
Sometimes, I mean, it's really easy to hear it if I hear someone say something like, I don't need a lot,
Wow. Yeah.
or I don't, or I'll ask, how much money do you want to make? And they go, I don't know, you know, and they can't even tell you what they want. Um,
Okay.
you
Or
know,
they,
that,
or they go really arbitrary, right? Like, oh, I don't know, 100 grand a year, 120 million, they just throw out a number and it's like no, there's just
yeah. And even the way you did it, it's, oh, let's look at that because you just kind of threw that out.
right,
What are the beliefs underneath it? And
right.
then we begin to work the beliefs. And then um, for me, there's two ways I generally get the information. It's either I will hear it or I will see it. So a lot of times if I'm working past lives, like I start to get these images and I'll be like, oh, hey, you were in a dark cave once. Oh, that was in Egyptian times. Or, this is, oh, wow, you were on a plantation. That's interesting, right? I'll get these images. And then it's always a check back. So I will say these things and the client will start crying. They'll be like, oh, I have no idea, but that feels so real. That's so resonant. And like you said, sometimes you do an energy thing and you're like, oh, I don't know. And the client's always
Right,
like, oh, like
right,
that's how it is for me. I'm like, I'm
right.
just sharing this stuff. And then the clients are like, it's true. That must have happened. Right. And then we clear it and you can feel it in the client. Like
Yeah.
I use a pendulum to double check, but like I can tell a client goes from, well, I don't know, to yes, I am strong.
Right.
And you're like, okay, great, we got that one.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah. When we see that flip happen, right? Like it's that whole energy flips and you can look at them and they look like a different person maybe or like
Yeah.
that's always fun. Yeah, to see that type of shift happen and so that's really cool. So you have processes to help them to shift the energy by working. But do you
Yeah.
change the frequency of the coding? Is that how it kind of works or is it more mysterious than that or
Yeah. I haven't actually, I mean, it's a little more mysterious. So like if we're doing ancestral, I usually take them into a really deep meditation
okay.
where they're diving into, their own sacred space that lives within them. If we are doing family, then it often lives, or the family and the wounding live in memory. So we're going back into memories. And then we actually take the little child and we do some inner child work and we
Mm.
change it there. And I love inner child work because the little part of ourselves doesn't know, like, you get somebody who says their 4 year old didn't take care of their mom in that situation. You say to the 4 year old, that was not your job. And they go, what? What? I didn't
Right,
know that. And it can change, but just like that.
right, right.
So yeah, it's different levels and it's kind of like the record keepers kind of guide me to that place. But often it's also like, oh, I don't know why I'm not getting online. And then boom, I like start seeing the different times they were a witch. Or
Yeah.
here's an interesting one, just to think about. A lot of times, those of us who were witches, um, especially for women, we came back as nuns. We went into the convent because if you want a safe place to do magic,
Yeah.
do a miracle instead. Just go to the convent or become a monk and go do some miracles, and
Mhm. Right.
everybody will, that's fine. It's just
Right, right, right.
magic that's wrong, but miracles are great.
Right.
So,
Programming,
like,
yeah. long as you're in the system, we like it, right?
Yeah, as long as you're in the system. I love that.
Let him through, yeah. So, but yeah, yeah, I really think like yeah, it's just wild. So many things coming to my mind I want to share, but I just keep my one biggest thing it keeps tracking inside of me is a sensitivity that I have for women, like for women that are in these spaces and like feeling like like I don't know if I'm good enough. I don't know, like just people I just talk to all the time, really. I mean, people are just questioning themselves still, even when they're starting to get their mojo going, there's such a questioning aspect of, I don't know. Can I really do this thing? Can I really be people even after they do big things, right? Like they're still like, I don't know, am I all that really though? And it can happen to men and women, but like you see it a bit more in women, that doubting stuff. So I want to give that attention the most here as we start to come closer to the end of the show. I'd love for you to address that for women that feel that way, like I don't know, like just feel a little off. I don't know if anybody would come to my webinars or my talks or my whatever, right? Like they
Yeah.
just constantly have that like little doubt that's always kind of there.
Well, I think that this is what's coming up around that is that, just a minute, they're talking to me.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, for many women, being okay, being safe has meant following the rules, right?
Hmm.
And there are rules laid out to be safe. And I
Hmm.
think for women, being safe is a bigger concern than for men.
Right,
They've done studies.
right.
Men are afraid women will laugh at them, women are afraid men will kill them. There's this whole safety thing. And what does it mean to be safe? Well, to be safe, I have to get straight A's. To be safe, I have to follow the rules. And so failure for women becomes much scarier than failure for men. What
Mm,
happens if I put this webinar out there and nobody comes? Well, that means that I broke all the rules, and that's not safe.
mm,
And
hmm.
I think that for women, we need to have communities where
Hmm.
it's okay to fail and then
Hmm.
get back up and do it again. We need to have we need to have communities that will both support us and love us and hold us and feed us in our failure and support us and celebrate us and cheer us on in our successes. And women's spaces have not been created that way.
Hmm. Hmm.
Women's spaces have been created as a competitive bucket. Only one of you gets to wear the crown and the sash, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
And so I think we answer that question, whatever the question was, but I don't even remember. I'm sorry.
Even with the doubt, like, I don't know if I really could, am I
Yeah,
really
yeah.
to be
I
doing
think,
this? Can I do it? All those kind of.
yeah, we do that by creating spaces where it's safe to try and fail and try and succeed and do it over and over and over because we are not meant to do it alone.
Right,
And we've
right.
been taught to do it alone and to do it perfect and to never fail. And those are all designed to keep us small and to keep our magic clamped down on. Because if you have 100 women in a room who are full on lit up in their full magic, doing their stuff, you can't control them,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
And our society is all about control.
Yeah.
So we've got to build those spaces. We've got to have conversations like this conversation that you facilitate. We've got to have communities where women can come together and say, hey, I failed here, but I succeeded here. And also where it's good to succeed. I mean, I've been in communities where I was told that I was getting too successful. Could I just bring it
Wow.
down a little bit? Women's groups.
Women's groups even. Wow.
So we need to build really great covens for women.
Yeah, I've heard that too. I've heard that where like maybe the head guru or whatever is the woman, the goddess woman. I'll just say that it's like her ego's so frail that if you start rising way up, it's like, all right, you need to get this one out of here. You're getting too big. I have heard stories like that. It does get wild with those wounds, right? Like women that have those wounds like that, and those circles get created. So, like I would say, my read on you is you're the opposite of that. Like, I mean, no, I'm not getting paid to say this, but it's a feeling I get. Like, yeah, he's just like, here,
Thank
yeah,
you,
we'll pay
Jack.
you some money for that. Yeah. You're just joking around. But anyway, I'm just saying, like, I get that sense of like safe space, honoring everybody, deeply and, all that kind of stuff. And, there's, men and women have a lot of ego, like, so like, someone that is relatively, lighter in their ego, like yourself, like, that's amazing, create women like yourself creating those communities. That's wonderful.
Thank you. I really received that. It's been a lot of work to come to this place
Mhm.
because I can be very competitive and it doesn't serve me and it
Right,
doesn't serve my women and it's not what I want for the people in my communities. Um,
right.
and there's a great joy in watching your people even pass you by in terms of
Mhm.
what, I don't know, the world or the whatever says. I just like, that's the stuff. That's what we're here for. That's the stuff. Let's raise up everybody.
Yeah, yeah. No. Okay, so Julie, where could people go to be able to explore more and connect with you more, etc.?
Thank you. Number one, we have a Facebook group called Feminine Business Magic where women can come and we do those things all the time to uplift women. We brag on Wednesdays, a skill women, a muscle that women need to develop. We do a lot of free stuff in that group. We also have the Art of Money Magic, which is our 2-day event, April 18th and 19th, where we are going to do a deep dive into those 6 money codes. We're actually going to do hot seat coaching. We're going to take people through the processes of beginning to rewrite their own money codes. And so they'll leave with that information and they will leave with I don't think we can do all the money codes in a weekend for everybody who shows up, but they will leave with the start of that process. And that would be the other place. And then I think we're going to have you on my podcast coming
Yeah,
up.
thank you for bringing that up. Yeah.
You are going to be the second man ever on my podcast, 350 episodes. So I'm super excited to bring you to my
Wow. My
podcast.
God, I feel so honored. Thank you.
So we're bringing you into the art of feminine business world. And we talked a lot about masculine and feminine. We need to bring the masculine in. So I'm super excited to have that happen. So you can find the art of feminine business um, everywhere you listen to podcasts.
Okay, yeah, fantastic. I was just listening to an episode a little bit before I came on today. I was like, let me listen a little bit more. 'Cause I pick up bits here and there. That's usually what I do with my guests. I don't necessarily do a complete deep dive if I'm honest. Depends. Sometimes I do have the bandwidth to do it, but like, yeah. So I was listening to the podcast and just like here, if you enjoyed this, you're gonna absolutely love her podcast because she's bringing more and more the energy and the wisdom and everything. And so really appreciate everything you've shared. And we're gonna have you share just a bit more here at the end of the show, but. We're going to go into the Energy Scan Spotlight now for Julie. So you ready to receive a couple downloads?
I'm ready. I forgot we were going to do this. Woo, I'm excited.
Yeah. And everybody who's listening in, like, just realize these downloads may be for you too, right? So let's see what's coming up for Julie right now. I've never heard this phrase for somebody before. I hear you're a wicked master, So that's a new phrase. I haven't seen that one before. Let's see what's going on with all that. Yeah. Wow. I mean, just the upper field of your energy. There's a lot, lots. It is. It's like things, energies are dancing and stuff, and you could call it your guides, I suppose, but it's just energy and spirits and all this stuff. So it's like, yeah, there's so much to play with for you and your field. So some people might, so you've got an extensive team, you know. Anyway, but yeah, you've got a lot going on. It's like a big party going on. Much more so than I normally ever see in other people. So yeah, when we look at your access into that is still, you know, developing. You know, you're still opening in that crown to even more of that. But yeah, the more you're able to access that and let that integrate even further into your energetic field, like man, you know, again, no offense to anybody, including you, Julie, like it's like a body orgasm and feeling I get like coming into your body. It's like, wow. And the more it comes in, it's just, you know, it's just so liberating. It's like being right back at home. Because as a wicked master, you've been able to do all that stuff and let it flow through your body and transmute all kinds of energy through your body and in your body and all kinds of stuff. And I think that's the next step of evolution is to just take it in even deeper. And so that's that one thing. I'll share maybe one more tidbit. Ah, um, Yeah, I think there's still the persecution thing because the biggest thing they're showing me, like they show you, right, stuff. I get a on the back of the head, right? So you probably know about something about that, but something about now there's been abuse in this life, you've told me. So, but I see like a whack on the back of the head. So it's like okay, I get all filled with myself, but there's still something that could catch up to me and knock me down, you know? So, you know, maybe I think I got it all cut. That's where you have to watch that ego, right? Because the ego can get elevated within all these energies potentially. So we have to watch that because that's where you'll become blind and something could hit you to kind of bring you back, you know, into wisdom. So you just have to be mindful of like the drunk ego that may appear in moments, even like just to be mindful of that and be like, no, I'm not going with that. You know, stay in my wise connection, you know, my wisdom of the power that I really am and being connected in my body. And I'm not going to allow that to unfold because I'm connected energetically with the earth or whatever, all the grounded, etc., all those things. But like, I'm in my wisdom and not continue to be careful. Not, so in other words, you will be able to let all this flow, but you have to do it. Yeah, that's where the incremental comes in because we have to do it with wisdom so that in this case, and it could be for other people too, but like in your case, the ego is a protective mechanism. Ego is always protection really is it could get whoa, look at all this, and like all of a sudden something's gonna hit you. So that's already happened in past lives in this life. So, but what I'm getting is that you know, it's okay to be this full-on version of yourself. And as you are, you're just going to lead other women to experience very similar results. So this deeper embodiment, maybe we call it for now, of this Wiccan energy or this witch energy, whatever you know want to call it, the magic. So anyway, like I said, I could talk forever on this stuff because it's so fun, but I better stop, otherwise the podcast go on forever. All right, Julia. So whatever did resonate, I'd love to hear about that. And yeah, it was fascinating to see everything there.
I love the drunk ego. I'm like, yes, I'm always on the lookout for my drunk ego.
It is can be drunk for any of us, I think, really, but like right, like because the energy gets high, and it's like, wow, we're doing it, and like we
Yeah,
just have to, and you have a real grounding into wisdom too, but like I do see that other aspect, and that's where those getting knocked down is kind of come in part, you know, it's part of the mechanisms. But yeah, anyway, that's what
yeah.
I saw.
Well, isn't that why we have kids? Like to
Bring your ego down.
bring your ego
Whatever,
down.
mom. Whatever.
Yeah, exactly. No, I appreciate that. I really do. That's great wisdom to keep in mind. I think that
Yeah.
um, you know, the as I'm in these realms doing this work, that the antidote to drunk ego is to remember to come back and ground into Mama Earth.
Yeah, exactly. Because even if you don't feel like you're like that and mostly at all right now, like all of a sudden when you get into the higher energy, those ideas can come into your consciousness is what I was saying. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure thing. Okay, everybody. If you want to check me out, you can go to yoursacredpurpose.com and get your free meditate, make money meditation and take advantage of that as well. And it'll get your chakras open through the meditation, listen to your guides. And yeah, I mean, we got other healers and business coaches and whatnot have taken that in. And even one, as you put it in the back end of her, one of her programs or memberships, I think she says, "Hey, I promote it. I have people listen to it because I've allowed that." But like, yeah, it's powerful. So take advantage of it. You will get sharper, clearer, connected guidance. Connected guidance is the key on what may want to happen next for your business. So go there, and then you'll hear about energy scan offers from me by going ahead and opting in for that free gift at yoursacredpurpose.com. Get, meditate, and make money. All right, so I'll leave it at that for today. So Julie, any last words of wisdom for everybody today?
So I'm going to ask Money to give us a message. Oh, so sweet. So here's the message to those listening. Money wants to come and spend time with you. Money wants to be in your life. Money wants to partner with you so that you can have a bigger impact and influence in the world. Money loves your mission. It loves, oh, it loves your juiciness. It loves the way you play in the world. And money would love to be with you. And it is asking to come. It's really asking to come at this time. So there's a knock at the door. Say yes. Say yes.
Yes, 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 the money. All right. So I love that. Thank you so much, Julie. It's been an honor and pleasure to have you on the show today.
Oh, thank you. It's really been fun.
Yeah, likewise. And for everybody that's tuning in, like I always say, keep on tuning in. We'll keep on rocking it here at Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Till the next time. For listening to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Stay tuned for our next upcoming new episodes each Wednesday and Saturday. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review to help us to serve you best. As a reminder, you can get your free Meditate and Make Money meditation at www.yoursacredpurpose.com to rock your sacred purpose. Goodbye for now, everybody.